Oh, hello. So, now, second video for the day. Figured since I had so many ideas rambling through my head that I wasn't going to do a single one of them because I don't know exactly which idea to do, and I was standing out in the garage wasting time. I decided to bring my rod box inside and get some of the poles ready to go because I don't know if I mentioned, but all my stuff has not had attention to the lines. So I need to swap out a couple poles with mainline braid and then redo the leaders on them or whatever. And so, because some of the leaders haven't, I think I ran them through last year and didn't swap a single one of them out. Luckily, surprisingly, I think, never got bit off, but I'm gonna do that since I got time. And like I said, the ideas with the shack have been all over the place. So to get started, I'm gonna just go through the poles I do have. Most of my poles are from 13 Fishing. Really enjoy those. They are, when I get one pulled out here, I'll show you guys. It is the infrared 40-inch medium action paired up with so this one, it still got plastic on it. This one I bought just the rod, and then I went to Fleet Farm or wherever and put on a Source K on this one. I don't remember. This one's a 2000 size, so this one, yeah, this one I could rock with some fresh line on it, I think. I don't know if this is the one that needs it or not, but yeah, anyway, so with most of the rods that I have, they I just have regular cheap $20, $30, $40 reels from Fleet Farm on them. The Source K and the Source X, they actually do severely well in the cold. The only time I've had one give me issues was the only issue I had was the what's it called, the little clicker thing down here, right, where you can backspin it and forward spin it, like this little clicker thing. On one of them, it froze up on me, which was weird because that pole and that reel was probably the cleanest that day for snow and whatever else was going on. But other than that one time, I've never had an issue with any of these rods or reels. The reels especially, the rods, I mean, the only, I don't know, the rod itself, I guess I really can't complain because I've caught almost all my lake trout, caught decent amount of pike on them with using them as my tip up poles because I put these in iFish Pros. I got, how many do I have? I don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I got 4 of them of the 13 Fishing infrared 40-inch medium action. Have used these for pike fishing and lake trout fishing, and I put them on my iFish Pros. And if you know how iFish Pro works, the rod itself and the reel itself, they're out there open to the elements, and so I won't get too much into that, but they do really well. Never had one break. Even with doing the dipping my rod down in the water, bringing it back up in negative, or feels like negative sub-zero temperatures with blowing wind and everything. I have had obviously the typical stuff of like guides freezing up and everything and getting like ice built up on them, but they're pretty easy to just flick off and good to go after that. Because then also too, I have the issue of ice building up more, I think, than others, because unless you want run braid, that's my issue, is my main line is always braid. Haven't fully committed to swapping over to, like, say, fluoro, or definitely not mono. Like, I know mono has changed over the years since the last time I used it, but still just a comfort thing for me. So that one's fine. Like I said, 13 Fishing infrared with paired up with the 13 Fishing Source K reel, and it is this one specifically is a 2000. My other ones are usually 3 or 4,000 just because having more line on. Here's my OG one. This one actually came, oh no, this one isn't the OG one, I don't think, or maybe it is. I don't know, because on one of these two the reel broke, and I thought it was this one. I guess not. But anyway, yeah, one of these, I could have swore it was this one. Had the, maybe it is this one, because this one's not tightening up. Oh no, so this one, okay, so what happened with this one, this is my OG one. This is again a 13 infrared 40-inch medium action rod, but this one came as a combo with the infrared reel, and the reel size is like maybe like 1,500. I don't know. It's really tiny compared to like even say the 200, right? And so this one though, I do remember what happened. So I don't remember when exactly it happened, but I think it was last year. The handle of the reel had actually broke, and then I had to duct tape it, or not duct tape. I used electrical tape to keep it all together, and was able to use it like that. But then was fighting. Yeah, I remember what happened. I was catching a lake trout through the ice. In the middle of that, it was this side of the reel that had broke, and in the middle of that, like I had electrical taped around it. During the fight, the reel was just so out of control I couldn't even reel the fish up, and so this handle came off of one of my other 13s. Now I gotta figure out which one it was. So this one, I don't know if I'm gonna mess with this one tonight or not, but I'm going to for sure need to swap out the reel, because even then it would, like, I caught plenty of lake trout. Yeah, the drag is gone, that's why I need to swap that out completely, but it's hot in here. So I caught plenty of lake trout on that tiny little setup too, and so it's obviously recommended, and the longevity will be there for like a better reel than that, especially if you're trying to fight lake trout. Like that would be pretty perfect for probably walleye and like smaller fish than that, like some pike here and there. But that reel is definitely not rated for bigger fish like a bigger pike or a lake trout. The drag system on it doesn't do the normal clicking like a drag does on an open face anymore. It's still, like, watching it though, it still has the resistance of the drag that was there, but it's just the noise it makes, I guess, is the drag gear and all that stuff is definitely wearing out on it. So just gonna retire that one. So then here's another setup of mine. The only difference between this one is that this black reel is a Source X 2000. I guess I'm only running 2000s. Huh. No, there's a 4000. Okay, so this one's a 2000. I thought I only had... I guess I don't remember what I have anymore. Yeah, look at all of them. So, let's see. That's a 2000. Okay, so I got... Actually, well, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 13 Fishing infrareds, rod setups. On each one, I got the Source K. Both of the Source Ks I got are 2000s. This one apparently I was jigging with. My 2 rods I mostly jig out of. Actually, I guess 3. Here's my jigging rod. One of my jigging rods that definitely needs some attention to the line is the 13 Fishing Omen. How big is this one? This one's a 36 medium, and then I got it paired up with the Freefall XL. Now, this is available as a combo now, but when I got this, I actually did this setup prior to 13 releasing them as a combo together. So 13 fishing, Freefall extra large inline reel with the 13 Omen 36 medium rod. Fun story about this one, I actually caught a pretty decent sized lake trout on this one time. What happened was it gave me, I had like 10 feet away from the hole, and it gave me a couple solid like tail slaps, and so I lost it. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, I think it was, that was when I looked outside the shack and had caught or saw a flag up on an iFish Pro, went over, grabbed it, and then that's when I caught my personal best lake trout to this day. So I will attach a picture actually, because to show you guys that even though they're cheap rods, they do the job. Okay, so I talk a lot about 13 fishing rods, which I actually have one more. So now the grand total is 4 infrareds, that 1 Omen, and then my pan fishing rod that I use. My pan fishing rod that I have here that I'll have to mess around with is the 13 fishing tickle stick. This one is a 38 light action, and so I don't know if you guys can read that. That's a bait that I had on apparently last year. Usually you can see these tickle sticks, and I think the Widowmakers have it too, but the tip of them are colored compared to like the rest of the rod. The rest of the rod is black, and so the reason why mine is red compared to the standard color, if you've seen it before, which is just the normal chartreuse, neon green, whatever, the rod and reel, both of them, Black Betty inline, this actually came as a exclusive from a store called Runnings, and so I don't remember if that's why I bought it, but I've had this one for a few years now, and going 100%, like having this super sensitive rod, especially for pan fishing from 13, like this one does pretty great. Like I probably could have gotten a smaller rod, but at the same time, I guess, I don't know, like when I'm out there on the ice, I think my video either began last season or the season before, I think I showed it pretty well that like I sit kind of far away from the hole, so I'm kind of like also not intentionally trying to do it, but I kind of reach out to the hole because I also don't want to be like directly over top of the hole constantly with like a 19-20 inch rod. So having this one kind of like leaning over, just extend my arm out a little bit, like it does pretty good, and I've enjoyed it pretty well. The only thing for sure is that a lot of people say on these sensitive rods, when you are storing it, like here's a bait in my hand, it's all slackline, the rod tip itself is kind of curved, and again the bait is in my hand, so it's all slacklined. The reason why that is just because for how sensitive and thin this is, it's holding its form basically, and so gotta kind of keep an eye on that if you get a sensitive rod like this, or I don't know if it's like other brands or what, but the tickle stick, this is what it does when you store it and not using it. And so if you're gonna store it, I've meant to do it, but clearly I forgot again. Was gonna take the bait off instead of like keeping it hooked up and everything, but yeah. So that's a thing to deal with. Like mine hasn't really affected much. The sensitivity is all still there. I can still see the bend. If I sit there like how I was, like I got it hooked back up together right now, but like if I sit here and like kind of try to straighten it out, it will kind of go, but to prevent that, yeah, just don't let your rod sit like that, I suppose. So now on to my other poles I have. Not 13, but the reel is 13. So jigging for a lake trout, and It's meant to be jigged for pike too. It's just I don't go pike jigging for some reason. I've tried it a couple times, but yeah, for how like in love with pike I am, obviously Savage Gear. For how much I love pike fishing, I don't really go jigging for them through the ice, but this rod, got this specifically for jigging big pike and big lake trout. This is a 46-inch extra heavy slugger from Frostbite. I don't know if I've actually produced the videos where I've talked about this before. Again, one of my issues of not making videos because I don't catch anything. But yeah, it's a hefty rod for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a hefty one. Anyway, so got the slugger. Again, got paired up with a 13 fishing Source X reel. Will it show? Yeah. So Source X, this one is a 4,000 size, and definitely, for sure, obviously a fan of the Source K and the Source X reels. Like I said, their drags do pretty solid in the cold temperatures, and they hold up pretty well in my opinion. I think this will be my, I don't even know, this will I think be my 4th year using them, because I think I started buying them COVID year. So yeah, 2020 is when I first got the first one, and then getting more iFish Pros. That's usually what I fish with for my tip ups. I do have the classic, just flag style reel in the water tip ups. I do need to get those back out again because that is actually kind of fun, but not messing with those yet today. So that's mostly all my setup. I got one more rod to show you guys, and then again, 13. This is the reel that handle comes off of too. So another 13 fishing, Frostbite rod paired up with another 13 fishing Source K reel, and then this one is a 2,000 size. This rod from Frostbite is a 38-inch medium True Grit from Frostbite. This is my jigging rod for walleye fishing that I rarely do, also during winter time, so I'm kind of slack on that. Those are all my rods that I generally use through the ice season, mostly 13s, a couple Frostbites. I'm gonna real quick try to remember which ones I need to swap out the line and the reels completely, and then figure out what I want to do with the other ones, because probably not gonna go lake trout fishing through the ice anytime soon. I'll just run through real quick with you guys how I rig up the poles for the iFish Pro and targeting lake trout. Like I said a second ago, usually my iFish Pros will be for either lake trout or pike. I guess walleye too. So this method, actually, yeah, this style can be for both lake trout or walleye, because I'll be running a fluorocarbon leader. And so basically what I do is, to keep things quick and simple instead of just constantly sitting there changing out line, changing out this, changing out that, whatever. What I do for going for lake trout and walleye through the ice is, I'll start off with this one's set for lake trout, so just bear with me, and if I can show it off to you guys. So here I have a number 2, I believe it is, number 2 single hook. It's the Trokar Sharp, whatever, the Trokar hooks. Use these, and then how I'll rig this one up with the bait is, for if I'm using creek chubs, I'll just hook the creek chub's nose, or have the hook come up through their mouth, and so it'll be sitting like that, and then they can be swimming around and everything. And the lake trout usually go head first on them, and I haven't had an issue with these hooks doing that, and by having the bait set up like that to where I don't hook them. Have had some kind of gut hooks, but at that point, if the hook is too far down, legit will do my best to go down in there and cut on the shank as far as I can. Or if it's not like too terribly far down their throat and I can still see it, I'll do my best to quickly try flipping it out of their throat so that they don't have a hook in their stomach or throat whenever they're swimming around after I release them. And then from there, it'll be about a foot long. Probably should have done something different for seeing this. So it'll be about a foot long fluorocarbon leader, 15 to 25 pounds, something like that, enough to where the chub can swim around and not get too like drugged down from the fluoro. Another way that Dad and I do this is same hook. We'll put on a shiner, and the shiner, that one's pretty standard. Just hook it through the back and then send it down. Same thing with the minnow. Would use obviously probably a different hook than this. Something a little bit smaller for minnows and everything, but yeah. So that's how we do it. And then at the knot right there, got a barrel swivel along with a clip, and then the sinker. I think this one was using for walleye fishing last time we went up there because of how light everything is. And so, like I said, the reason why I have it set up like this, on having fluoro tied up to a barrel swivel, and then from the barrel swivel to the clip, is because I can just sit here. If I'm changing it up from lake trout to pike, obviously I can sit here and then swap over either a thicker fluorocarbon line or a steel leader. Two ways how I go ice fishing with the iFish Pros, going for lake trout or pike. And then also too, if you have a decent enough sinker down there, this obviously isn't big enough for trying to go for lake trout, or I guess it probably could work for pike, but it might be a little bit light. It's just a little tiny split shot. Haven't had honestly any issues with this little factor right here, because what I do also is when I'm sending the bait down to get everything set up, it's straight up just right out the bottom. That's all we do, is keep the bait down the bottom, having the foot long or so leader and the fish swimming around. It gives enough room for the bait to gives enough room for the bait to swim around, and also the fish, where maybe pike or lake trout, whatever, can swoop down and grab it. Obviously for pike fishing, we'll keep them suspended off the bottom, so it'll be sitting opposite, and then the bait will be swimming around where the sinker's at to keep it in place. But that's the reason why I do that, is just keeping the swivels on and being able to quick change between lake trout fishing or pike fishing, and then obviously adjusting the bobber stop for the iFish Pro and everything else from there. So I'm going to finish up here, get everything wrapped up, and then swap out the poles I need to be swapped out. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up, and then also obviously subscribe to my channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I'll be out on the ice soon. So we'll see you guys then.